got a big red shirt. Also, I've got faces. All kinds of faces. They're animated faces that you can talk to. Let me demo what I did yesterday and part of today. Okay, you're not going to see too much change from what I presented earlier. I did do a re-implementation of this UI box or selection box around there. Just one moment. Gonna bring up my other monitor so it shows the stream. It's my health check to make sure that I'm actually streaming. Because sometimes I'll talk for a half hour and just realize the stream is down. And that's not helpful. Okay. So, a few things are different. That little selection box, it moves around with the thing that I'm dragging. Before, it used to wait for me to finish dragging the eyes, and then the red box would catch up with it. And I had rationalized it as, maybe I want the selection box to stay where it used to be until I let go, so that I can have a frame of reference. Here's where the eyes used to be as I'm moving it to a new place. But it's just not intuitive to think that way, and it also goes against the experience of using other apps that have similar UI. It's kind of weird to leave the box behind and then it catches up with you. The other thing I added was that these UI components would always be drawn on top of everything else. So these different parts, face parts, eyes, and the eyes and mouth, they have their own Z order or sequence of rendering. And, the mouth will go on top of the eyes. Okay. And the selection box is going to the eyes, but in this case, that's expected because your mouth is already above the eyes. But if I go the opposite direction, the eyes go into the mouth, and that's fine too. But the improvement I made is that the red box, the selection box, will still stay on top of everything. Arguably, I should temporarily bring the thing I'm dragging to the front, but I do think it's a little bit of information that could be useful to see that its Z ordering is behind something else. So if I was trying to, I don't know, suppose I made this nose a separate part and it was in front of other things and I wanted to nestle the eyes so they were kind of tucked behind it a little bit. Then it would be valuable to keep the same part ordering, Z ordering. So I think I like it how it is. Anyways, next thing for this session, which has a little more than an hour left in it. I want to be able to detect clicks and drags on the resizing buttons. I'm not going to give myself more work than that. Like, if I had a lot of momentum or I had more time, I would make it so that when you click on those and move them around, it actually does resize the part. But I don't think I can do that in an hour. I think what I can do is detect the click on the individual box or resizing button, and maybe also detect when a drag starts and stops. So it's time to code. So I've got these mouse down, up, move events, and they kind of drive this whole thing. They're inside of the canvas object. The canvas DOM element, I should say, that they're applicable to that element. the other things that are drawn inside of the canvas do not have corresponding DOM elements. So I'm using my own data structures to detect UI actions inside of that canvas. My own data structures and event handling. So it's a little bit more challenging than if I'd worked off of the DOM, but I really want the canvas to be fast and completely under my control, and I don't want to mix and match DOM elements on top of it, anything like that. Okay. Oh, what's my design? Oh man, what is my design to do this? Requirements. Detect. Start, middle, and end of drags on resizing buttons. Twitch just sent me some message I'm looking at briefly. No, I don't want to run off to somebody else's stream when I'm in the middle of my own stream. Okay. What else? I need to be able to perform a resize on the component that the UE belongs to. Later session. Stub for now. Call event handler for on resize, on part resize. Revert to prior sizing if on part resize returns false. Okay. Later. So I don't have to do all this work in this session, but I do have to use a design which will allow me to finish the remaining tasks in a future session. Update positions of resizing buttons, not just resizing buttons, selection box and resizing buttons to match change in dimensions. And I'll put later on that. So my design just needs to handle these things that say later. But I will try to do these two other things in this session. Okay. So I'll make it so that we can click on these buttons and we can drag them around. I think also I want to show the intermediate updates to this box while it's doing that. That might be challenging too. During drag. Yeah, okay. So what is the design? So right now I have a focus part, but I think I need another tracking to say that not just the focus part, but what component is dragging right now. Okay, so we'll say this dragging component. will be set to whatever component is dragging. Let's see, otherwise it'll be null. Or null if nothing dragging. Okay. Mouse down is where I'm going to be able. This is where I'll be able to detect if we clicked on one of the UI components. Oh, I remembered another requirement. Apply constraints to dragging the sizing button, because if you know how dragging buttons works, dragging these resizing buttons works, these you'd expect to only move horizontally. These you'd expect only to move vertically. These you'd expect vertical and horizontal, diagonal, right? And then I think I might also have to stop from pulling it past the other side. So if I was doing something where I wanted to allow flipping the face to the other direction, then I could let you drag all the way past this point and kind of flip it. But that's not a useful operation. It's not worth the time in implementing it. Or I could say it could be a useful operation, but the ROI on it's pretty bad for me to do all that work. Okay, so there are going to be constraints on these guys. I'll say this is later. Okay, so on mouse down. Just figuring out my basic algorithm here. I think I can almost just as easily just write the code and figure out the whole algorithm. Let me see if I can get the gist of it. On mouse up, on mouse move, dragging component, set to null, check for click on UI. And if, here, let's say, if clicked on UI, then set dragging component. If clicked on resizing button, then set dragging component to resizing button, and what's it called? Focus part. Focus part to its parent. Okay. Else the current logic. Okay. On mouse up, I just set the dragging component to null, but that's also where I would check if dragging component is set. Perform corresponding action perform action that corresponds to that, resizing button. Okay, call on part resized. Call back. Okay, on mouse move. If dragging component set change width, height as appropriate. You can also just say perform the action that well, yeah, because these are the same thing. Okay, the other thing I need to do is remember the state of the component prior to the completion of the drag. Save width, height in tracked part. Okay, I think I got the gist of it right here. I think I can work with this. But what I can't do is continue working without a glass of water. I'm going to leave this up because I'm just going to be gone 10 seconds. I just got to get some water. I'm just really thirsty. Okay, back to it. Okay, so that's a lot of algorithm. I think I'll just, instead of trying to design any further, I'll just start implementing. I think I'm close enough. Okay, so come up to my track part. Here I need to say what's the word I want? Let me write something as a placeholder. Pre-drag width number. Pre-drag height. I don't like these names, but I just want to write it something there, and then I'll change it in a second. What am I really saying? Just to say. Previous, just keep it simple. Previous width, previous height. And then I'll just throw a little comment here to remind myself what it means. Width before any changes made by dragging or other UI. Before. Okay. Okay, and let's just take these little algorithms up top. Oh, I guess that immediately gives me squigglies to fix. Okay, so we say previous height equals component width, previous width. Oops, I got them mixed. Okay, that's not bad. let's take these and just move them up top. Okay, so arm mouse down. Okay. Mouse up. Mouse move. Okay, arm mouse down. Okay, this. Dragging component equals find resizing button backwards. Why don't I just change that name a little bit? Resizing component. Or even just resizing button. Okay. Okay, so then I gotta think about all this other stuff too. So if resizing button is true, okay, I think I got it. We say this focus part will either be resizing button, this resizing button. Oops. Okay, so we'll say that if the user clicked on the resizing button, we will say that the focus part comes from whatever part had a relationship with the resizing button. We'll just use the parent from that. Otherwise, like if you're clicking like someplace, like say I click here, I won't be clicking on one of these resizing buttons. So the logic will say, go find me what parts are there at the click point. And it should just pick the eyes, but I think since I have a bad, let's see. Yeah, I've changed the code enough that I broke something. Okay, so if I click on this, it's gonna capture that I am clicking on that and set the part, eyes, mouth, head, to the parent that this UI is attached to. Otherwise, if I didn't click on this, it's going to look just for a match on the part rectangle. Okay. And let me get rid of some of my red squiggles just by defining these things. So I can say canvas component. Okay, gotta set that down here. I'll allow it to be null too. Because null means no resizing button is currently selected or being clicked on. So this resizing button equals null. Okay. So then I can write this code too. I'm just going to leave it for now. This focus part equals okay. So this isn't quite right. I need to find part by component. I think I already wrote some code for this in set focus. I can just reuse. And this will return a part, which is a different thing than a component. Okay. So I've got a little bit of code I added earlier today right here. We'll say next focus part equals find part by component, and we just pass the component, and then I can just define that function. Okay, need to pass in the tracked parts as well. Or I can make this a private function inside the class and have access to this. I kind of like just, oh, wait a minute. Or, here, let's just do this. Private method, that's fine. Okay, so you should be returning null in this case. And let's go ahead and let that be null. Otherwise, return this tracked parts. Alright, okay, so that handles that. And this, yeah. I'm gonna write it the other way. I'm gonna pass in the track components and stick it outside of the class definition. I don't know why I just go back and forth on these things. I think part of the reason I like to write methods outside of the class is it's just really clear that they don't need anything from the class when they're not using this component. And the other reason is that it's more easily refactorable into other modules. Components. or I should say parts tract part. Okay. And this is going to be parts. This is going to be function with no private in front because that's redundant in this case. Okay, parts, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then this will be parts. And then later on, if I get a whole ton of these kind of functions, I can hide them off in another module pretty easily. Okay, so find parts by component. What? Okay. Then in that case, I'll just write a little bit of code that if it's null, it won't do anything useful. Duh. What? Oh, my wife wants steak. I'm just gonna tell her. Okay, how about we order it at 6? Totally not hungry now. Alright. Just want to code. I don't want to eat. Don't want to fucking eat. I want to code. What is best in life? It's not steak. Steak is overrated. TypeScript is underrated. Okay, find the resizing button at the chords. This is going to be similar. X number, Y number. Yeah, okay. Okay, so those are all the parts. What I can do is I can say for each part, yeah, it's similar but not the same logic. Because I'm getting the bounds of all the buttons inside of it. Okay. So I say const component count equals, yeah, let's see, const components equals part component children. Let's just call it part children. I like that better. let's see, I want sizing type. Let's add a enum for the different types of resizers. Okay, resizing type. Enum. Okay, we'll say top left, top. Let's start out with none. Top right, left, right, bottom left, bottom, bottom right. Default resizing type. Okay, there we go. Then let's take this function and put that into the module that knows the module that knows about these things. The selection box canvas component. Export function. Bam, this one. And we'll pass in a component. And we'll return a resizing type. We'll import this in a moment. Yeah, you got it. Okay. So, a nice simple way to do this. Part type to resizing type, or part to resizing type equals, then we say this guy is resizing type none. Right, just making a map. What do each of these things signify? Sizing type, top left. And let's just get them all in there. I just feel like I'm typing as fast as I can to get as much done as I can. Sometimes it's my brain that's the limiting factor, and other times it's just I'm spending time typing. That's slower than how fast I'm thinking, which is actually a nice problem to have. But the thing that isn't a nice problem to have is just feeling like you don't have enough time to do all the stuff you want to do, and that just never goes away. That's the main human condition. That's everybody's problem, except people that want to commit suicide. They have the opposite problem, but maybe not for too long. But for me, I'm just like, God damn it, why can I not have 300 hours a week to work on my own personal projects? And just a couple of millennia to work on my own personal projects. All right, so this is what is used to yes, no, what? Okay, no problem. Const resizing type or null equals or undefined. What could possibly bother you about that? Okay, any, right? What? I mean, do I need to declare this as a type? String. I always forget the syntax on this. String to resizing type, right? No, it's not that. TypeScript. You're mostly my friend. SL web speech maybe has something that shows me the right syntax to do this thing. Yeah, this shit right here. Okay. You say type something equals. Yeah, I just copied over. Type. Here. So let's say part type. Resizing type. Okay. So then let's take this, put it here. What? Where else is it defined? Jesus, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Export default resizing type. Enum resizing type. What? That's stupid. This is dumb. So you're probably wanting this to be syntaxed differently. So let's call this part 2 resizing type map. let's say type part to resizing type map equals bam, like that, bam. Okay, so I defined part to resizing type map, and then what? Now what are you complaining about? What? This is just an enum. This, what's your complaint? What is your complaint? What is your complaint? Let's go back, look at the example that worked again. Okay, type dictionary equals that. Okay. Oh, it's got braces. Oh yeah, okay. That makes sense. I'm being stupid. I'm being an ignoramus. Okay, so there and there. Okay. Jesus. That was way too much work. I thought that, like, if I just assigned it to this variable, the type would be implied. But I was wrong. You gotta declare this. Okay. So then I can take away the any, and let's just call it that. And we'll say return resizing type not equal undefined. Resizing type, no. Okay, that was too much work for a small thing. Okay, back to the main problem. Okay, this is an import. Okay. Okay. If the resizing type is equal to none, that means it could be the selection box, or it could be something, some future UI that's not a resizing button. In that case, skip past it, go on to the next one. Or I could invert this and just do something faster. We could say return the child, because this is the thing I'm looking for. But I think I also need to say if it's not visible, we'll skip over it. Okay. Okay, you don't want to return the part. Just to make sure this is all correct, let's do or null that. Oh, I have to check. I'm not done checking stuff. Okay, so I haven't found it. The point is inside of that rect yet. I can move this inside of here. Equals child bounding rect and image out. Okay, so that should give me the UI clicks. Okay, not doing too bad for time. So I'm going to try to finish up the code here in the next 5 minutes, so I've got time to just sort of debug what I've written. Okay, I'll mouse down. I've clicked on resizing button and set dragging button to resizing button, focus part to its parent. Okay, that's done. It feels like I can be a little smarter here. Let's do const next part. Next focus part. And I'll say if next focus part is equal to the current focus part, then maybe it's easier to do this way. Okay, we'll say what? Okay, simple. If next focus part. Okay, it goes like that. Okay, and down here, this is no longer needed. But this handling up here should do that. Jesus Christ. Part focused. I don't think it's going to allow a null selection. So let's do this. Okay, now what? Find result. Okay, pass XY. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so here I want to say, just to keep backwards compatibility, I'm going to say if this focus part and not this resizing button. I can tell it's just starting to get ugly. And I don't like that my time is 5:45. So I just want to troubleshoot any problems with the code that I've got now and leave future improvements for later. Otherwise, I'll end up in a grievous state of having a bug at the end of a session, which I just fucking hate. It just bothers me. So let's wrap it up. So my goal is going to be to just be able to detect that resizing button. Resizing button. Okay. Down here, what do we got? Oh yeah, you want to pass in the tracked parts, right? Yeah. Okay. So what does this mean? I think I should just be real crisp on this. I don't want to introduce a new bug. Okay. So is it true in all cases that if the focus part is equal to what we already have, we're just going to return without anything? Yes, that is true. Okay. So then we say, if we do have a focus part, we will hide it, because we know it's going to change. Now, the next focus part might be null. That's okay. But we'll say if this focus part, then we'll show it. And that should cover it. Okay. All the red squigglies have gone away. Let's see if I regressed anything. Looks like I did, because I don't see an initial red outline. I can click though. And unfortunately, it's saying true. And it seems to be missing another part of what I wrote. That's weird. Okay, good. I'm glad it said false. It didn't pick up the... Okay. mean, it's kind of neat that I can click on something now and cause it to be unselected. I might want to keep that. But I think it's probably not intended. In any case, I really just want to see if I can detect this guy here. And it's right now it's always saying false. So let's pull this in a bit. And find part at Quartz. No. Part UI Manager. Find resizing button at Quartz. That's what I care about. Okay. So I think you should be able to find that guy. So it's part of the eyes part. Part count should be 2. Okay, 3. Okay, good. Part eye. Okay. Part component. Okay, so this is eyes. Part children. We should have like 9 part children. Oh. I said part component children. Oh, it might have put them all. Okay. Okay, so do you have your own children? You do. Okay. So it goes down 1 extra level. Do I want that? I think it might be better to have all of the UI flattened. That extra level of children, I don't know if that's good. Oh, but it is good for hiding and showing because it's much more efficient to just hide or show one component and then all the child components are hidden or not as a result. So I'll keep that hierarchy, but this function I wrote, it should go down. I can recurse too. So let's do okay, I get it. Find resizing button in component at Quartz. This will be component, canvas component, X number, Y number, canvas component, or null. Okay. So I'll just use recursion. This already has 2 levels of recursion, which is kind of embarrassing because they look exactly like each other. So if I just bring this up to here, let's do const children equals component children. Okay, const child count equals children count. Okay. Not count, length. Child count. Children. Okay. Continue. Okay. Otherwise, at the end of it, we return null. Okay, so if I do that, okay, got it. Const recursion. So yeah, okay. The way to think about it is you're just going to check the element itself first. Const resizing type equals not equals none. And then return this component. Oh, but we gotta check that it's a hit. Okay. This is component. Okay, and this is going to be returning the component if it's a hit. Boom. Okay, so then down here we call recursively. We say all the little checks, I just want to put them up top. That's just going to be nicer. Okay. And then this just becomes const child match equals find this guy, this very long function name. Then we pass in children, child I, x, y. Okay. If child match, return child match. Oh, this gets deleted. There we go. That's one decent little recursive function, and from this other thing I just do return okay. So that is quite a bit nicer than what I had. Let's see how that new logic works. Poorly. How did I lose my selection already? How did I? It's set focus. I broke set focus. Okay. God damn it. Still false, false, false. Okay. At 6:01, my wife wants steak. Goddamn food. Okay. I want to just see this working. Okay, we're on the first part. Match component equals find resizing button and component accords. Okay. So the component should be eyes. We got eyes. Component, come on. Eyes, it's eyes, cool. Resizing type. It should be none. Good. You should have one child. It does. Well, let's drill in one level of recursion. This component is visible. Resizing type is going to be none. Children, there should be 8 of them. There are. So we'll look at each one. I think I clicked top left. Okay, we're recursing a third time. Is the component visible? Yes. Resizing type. Okay, let's take a look at this component. Init data, part type, UI top left. So this should actually be the one. It might be the bounding ref that comes back is wrong. Okay, resizing type. What did you return? 0. No. Okay, that function has a mistake in it. Okay, let's set the breakpoint for that. Let's drill in. Okay. I'm gonna have to stop real soon. It pisses me off. Okay, so what is the component part type? Okay. Part 2 resizing type, and then it should be component part type. What the fuck, man? Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. I know what it is. I got it. I know what the bug is. This is very... It catches me all the time. Hey, Z. You're catching me right at the very end. I'm about ready to shut down, but thanks for dropping in. Hey, 4Max. God, it just bothers me to no end that I've got to stop with the bug Still in my code. Okay, so this thing always gets me. Yeah. Boom. Actually, more often than not, see, you drop in at the beginning. You're probably the world champ of dropping it at the beginning. But can I just see this stupid thing working? Please? Okay, no. There, finally, okay. Okay, got it. It's detecting those clicks. Okay, that's it. I got to roll. My wife wants steak. I promised her steak. We're gonna get steak. And a few bugs left for me to finish next time I come back. But I did get a little bit done. Yeah, I feel better. Made progress. Yeah, that's what happens when you set breakpoints in a debugger. 4Max, nice to meet you, sir, or ma'am, or they. Catch you later. Stopping the stream.